Hello, I'm Senate Minority Leader Eric Kearney from the 9th Senate District.
And I'm State Senator Nina Turner from the 25th Senate District. Welcome to Ohio in Focus.
Welcome to Ohio in Focus, the program that brings state government to you. I'm your host, Mike Rao. Our focus today is Forward Ohio, an economic development plan put together by State Senators Eric Kearney and Nina Turner. Welcome, Senators.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So tell me, how did you come up with this idea of Forward Ohio in the first place?
Well, a couple of things. Senator Turner and I were talking about kind of the state of affairs in Ohio, the economic problems that we've suffered, unemployment, kind of a sense of people being very frustrated with the way the economy was going forward. And so we talked about various ideas. We took some from President Obama's plans, a little bit from the National Urban League and their plans. Then we talked to people all across the country, and Forward Ohio is the product of those conversations.
Now you have four main points, or 4 points in this plan. Let's kind of run down through the list and talk a little bit about each of them. First one is to help small businesses compete and expand. What's that about, and what do you do in that area?
Well, some of the things that we would like to do is expand the opportunity to receive microloans. A lot of businesses have, since the Great Recession, which some experts say are over, but in the real world, in a practical sense, it's not over for many, and especially businesses. The liquidity crisis is very problematic. And so how do you help those small businesses that just need a little bit of money to keep themselves going, or to buy new equipment and those kinds of things? So we have a microloan component to helping small businesses compete and expand. As we know, small businesses are the economic engine in this country. They hire the most people, and it's so important, and they hire community people. And so in order to put people back to work, we have to make sure that our small businesses have the tools that they need. Minority bonding is also a big concern, whether or not minority contractors can receive the bonding that they need so that they can compete. So the whole foundation of making sure that people can work and businesses strive is making sure that they have their tools. And so part of that is in our plan.
Okay, and point number 2 is position Ohio's economy for growth. What would you do in that area?
Well, a couple of things. One, to build off of what Senator Turner just shared with us, is there's an increase in broadband. There's certain parts of the state of Ohio that don't have access to broadband capabilities. As you know, that's vital to business today. It's also vital to education. Another part of Forward Ohio would provide loans and further supplements to school districts, so we can improve our education system, because a lot of our school systems are suffering under the budget cuts that we currently experience. And then another thing is providing loans to municipalities to help them improve their infrastructure. As you know, in Ohio, we've got an infrastructure that's deteriorating, and we've got to supply the resources so we can build up our infrastructure. Only government can do that, and by government taking the lead there, it helps the private sector create jobs, fix the infrastructure, and get the economy moving again.
Mm-hmm.
Your next point is create pathways to employment. And one thing I noticed in this area is a lot of stuff talking about veterans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those people who served this country in Iraq, Afghanistan, they come back here and they need some help getting work, and that seems to be something you really focused on in this particular area.
And a big component of that, really, the president really emphasized that in his American Jobs Act, and it's very important that we take care of those who stand in the ready position for us on a regular basis. The unemployment rate among veterans is way too high, should be totally unacceptable, and so we wanted to do our part in this bill to ensure that that whether we incentivize businesses to hire them or they have access to even more skill building, that they had the full opportunity and also support through our Forward Ohio plan.
The fourth point really focuses on communities, how we can stabilize communities and improve communities that have been maybe particularly hard hit by this recession we've gone through. So what are you doing in that area?
Well, vacant and abandoned homes or vacant commercial properties, that's important that we provide dollars down to the local government so that they can revitalize those types of properties. And in doing so, we also employ some of the local community.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Brownfield Redevelopment Fund that Senator Turner is referencing is really very important, because if we can turn around some of the dilapidated buildings, we can provide communities with hope. And Senator Turner's experience as a former council member in the city of Cleveland really helped spur that idea and really helped buttress that part of Forward Ohio.
Now, you have support on the national level for this plan. You have the National Urban League and a former labor secretary. Talk to me a little bit about how these really important national groups and national figures are helping your cause and what their support means.
Mm-hmm. Well, President Mark Mariel, who is the national president, he was really very gracious with Senator Kearney and myself. And some of what we have in our plan, they have in their plan, their national plan, in order to push and make sure that people are back to work. So President Mariel came to Ohio several times, and he joined us both here in Columbus and also in Cleveland to really champion moving Ohio forward.
Mm-hmm. And then one other thing that should be noted, former Labor Secretary Robert Reich is supportive of the plan and provided some crucial ideas to help support Forward Ohio. So his work shouldn't be ignored.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, when people think about any kind of program that's going to help create jobs, there's a bottom line to that, which
Mm-hmm.
is how many jobs will it create? What do you think the impact will be of this plan?
Well, our hope is to spur job growth. And we've got an estimate from the Legislative Service Commission, which is just an estimate, but it says that it would be 16,000 jobs. So that's very exciting. It's very much needed in Ohio. And so that's why we think people need to get behind the Forward Ohio plan.
Mm-hmm.
Given how bad the economy has been, we're seeing some positive signs of
Yes.
growth. But you look at what's been taking place in the General Assembly for the last year or so. Do you think we've spent enough time, enough focus on this particular issue, or should we have been doing more?
We have to do more, and although we're on the uptick, so to speak, I think we're at 8.4 now, but there are a lot of people who have just disappeared out of the job market. They're not searching anymore because the jobs are not there, or they're frustrated. So absolutely, as far as we're concerned, our number one priority in the General Assembly should be about putting people back to work. Every family that we enable to work, we revitalize the community, we make our state and our nation a better place. And so government does have a role in such a critically crushing fiscal time. We have an obligation to make sure that we partner with the private sector and we put our citizens back to work.
All right, Senator Kearney, I'll give you the last word.
Well, I want to agree and echo many of the things that Senator Turner said. It's about putting people back to work. It's about people who are underemployed right now, giving them a chance to regain their status of employment. We've got to remember there are a lot of people who need to get new skills. And so our Forward Ohio plan talks about vocational education, talks about getting people in community colleges. And so really just uplifting the entire system. We're going through a tough patch. Ohio will get through it. We'll get back to where we once were, but we just need a little bit of a boost. Forward Ohio gets Ohio going in the right direction.
Okay, great. Thanks for joining us here on Ohio in Focus to talk about Forward Ohio. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Well, if you'd like more information about this legislation, you can check out forwardohio.com. Thanks for watching Ohio in Focus.